you aware of the prophecies in the Bible that are said to be fulfilled by Muhammad? If not, they might remain unfulfilled or considered false prophecies even today.
Muhammad mentioned in the Bible? That's hard to believe. Can you clarify?
In Deuteronomy 18:15-16, the Israelites asked God to ensure they would never again hear his voice or see his fire.
I know that story.
God responded by promising to raise a prophet like Moses from among their brethren.
But the Israelites consist of 12 tribes, so it must refer to someone from among them.
True, but it's important to note that when the Israelites requested not to witness God's fire, they did so as a united group. God spoke to them all at that moment, with everyone present. If God were to select a prophet from among them, it would imply that he disregarded their request. However, according to verse 17, God accepted their prayer by saying, "And the Lord said to me, what they have spoken is good."
That's an interesting perspective.
The Israelites and Ishmaelites are considered brothers because they all descend from Abraham, their grandfather.
I see where you're heading with this.
You're likely familiar with Deuteronomy 18:18, which states, "I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and will put my words in his mouth. He shall speak to them all that I command him."
Yes, I understand the prophecy. However, in John 6:14 it states, after the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, "Surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world." This indicates that Jesus fulfilled that prophecy.
There's a flaw in that logic. Just because Jesus fed a crowd with bread and fish doesn't mean he is comparable to Moses. Many prophets performed miracles as well, and that doesn't make them prophets like Moses. Earlier, in John 1:21, the Jewish leaders asked John if he was the Messiah, Jesus, Elijah, or the prophet, indicating they were still waiting for the fulfillment of three prophecies: the coming Messiah, Elijah's return, and the prophet.
I disagree. Muhammad cannot be considered a prophet like Moses. Moses freed the Israelites while Jesus offered salvation to everyone.
That's an interesting perspective, but here's why Jesus shouldn't be compared to Moses. 1. Moses had two parents, while Jesus was born of a virgin. 2. Moses was never worshipped, whereas Jesus is regarded as God the Son by his Christians. 3. Moses was given the law, Jesus followed and obeyed them. 4. Moses governed his people, Jesus lived under Roman Empire. 5. Moses had two wives, Jesus was single. 6. Moses was named by Pharaoh's daughter, Jesus was named by God. 7. Moses died naturally, Jesus resurrected. 8. Moses' followers participated in idol worship at one point, while the lost sheep of the house of Israel never engaged in such practices. Therefore, it is evident that Jesus cannot be compared to Moses.
So how does Muhammad compare to Moses?
1. Both were given laws. Moses received the Torah, while Muhammad established Sharia law. 2. Both migrated with their followers. Moses led his people out of Egypt, while Muhammad moved from Mecca to Medina. 3. They both had normal births. 4. Both were not worshipped during their lifetimes. 5. They both died natural deaths. 6. Both were military leaders. 7. Both had who had successors after their deaths. 8. Both practiced polygamy. 9. Both of their followers practiced idolatry. This is important because another prophecy in Isaiah 42:17 predicts that the prophet will put an end to idol worship. We can therefore conclude that Moses is more similar to Muhammad than to Jesus.
But regarding the prophecy about speaking God's words, how did Muhammad fulfill that?
The Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years and contains direct messages from God. Muhammad conveyed it without making any changes.
That was really interesting. Now I understand why you believe Muhammad is the final prophet.
We don't believe in the Bible, but we can observe many signs of his prophecy within it. That's why I thought it would be worthwhile to share this with you. Thank you for listening.